I will be doing a quick tank review for the Chinese Tier 1 light tank, the NC-31. This vehicle, for all intended purposes, it performs just like the French Tier 1 FT-17 and is slightly better than its counterpart when it comes to certain areas. Besides that, most most of the Tier 1 vehicles that are based on the FT-17 design function the same. This vehicle, it is not that bad nor good for a Tier 1. So if you know what you are doing in it, you can do quite well. Let's get into the vehicle stats now. The vehicle stats, it is not that great nor bad when it is fully upgraded. Let's begin off with the firepower, the top gun that you will be using. It is a pretty good 37mm gun. What is this gun good at exactly? You have an amazing rate of fire, good penetration and damage output, with a amazing aiming time of 2 seconds. This can be reduced even more from 2 seconds and below it with a good crew and a proper equipment setup. The only drawback to this gun, it is the accuracy. It is completely rubbish if you're trying to get precise shots off when it comes to long range. So, to make use of the bad accuracy, you need to get into a short distance fight with a enemy tank if you want to penetrate the enemy tank at range. Besides that, the turret traverse is pretty good at 34, so the turret can turn around quickly enough if it have to. The aiming time and the reload time, it is pretty good, so you will not run into a problem when the loading time it is faster than the aiming time. Certain tanks have that problem. When the reload time it is faster than the aiming time. Gun depression downward, it is 6. So it's okay in that area. It could be better. Not at -6 downward. Gun elevation upward, it is 35, which is pretty good. With the high rate of fire that this gun does have, you can easily kill or finish off a enemy tank if you have to at this tier. Survival ability is completely rubbish at this tier, as you can be killed easily enough by a enemy tank. One thing before I talk about the armor and the hit points, with the paper thin armor, the crew members and the modules, they can be damaged easily enough. Also, with the vehicle only having a commander and a driver, the driver down here, the commander up here, with a precise shot, mainly HE if it hits the center of the mass here, there is a chance for the crew members to be knocked out while the tank it is alive still. So be careful about that. Hit points 110, so you can take a few hits before you are killed. The armor, it is completely rubbish at this tier as everything can penetrate you easily enough. Whole armor, it is 16 all around, front, side, and rear. The armor, it is somewhat angled at the front here, so if you angle it at a certain angle, you can ricochet a few rounds. Besides that, everything can penetrate you easily enough. The turret armor, it is 22 in the front, side, and then 16 in the rear. The vehicle weakest spots would be the obvious. The hatch area here where the driver get into, and the cupola here. Also, the gun mantle, it is not that thick at this tier, so you can penetrate that easily enough. The mobility of the tank, it is okay for weighing about 6.5 tons. With a 75 horsepower engine, the vehicle have a decent enough horsepower to ton ratio, about 11.5 horsepower to 1 ton. So that means the 11.5 horsepower to 1 ton means you can potentially reach the top speed of 25 kilometers when you are on flat terrain, going in a straight line, or going downhill easily enough if you have to in a hurry. Reverse speed, it is okay at 8. The whole traverse is pretty good at 63. So with the amazing whole traverse and turret traverse, this tank can turn around in a hurry if it have to. Now, concealment, it is not that great for being a light tank, which is pretty small compared to the others at tier 2 and up. The camouflage rating, when it's staying still, it is 12.6. On the move, it is 9.5. So, for the most part, on the maps that you will be playing the tier 1 on, you are not going to be using the camouflage around you. As a map selection for tier 1, it is not that big. Now, the vehicle spawning. The view range, it is 280 with a signal range of 300 for the radio. So that would be a bit of an issue for you if you were playing on some of the bigger maps. But with most of the tier 1 maps being pretty small, the view range and the signal range, it is not going to be an issue for you. Now, let's get into the research part of the tank now. The research for the tank, it is a easy tank to go through, as you will just have to research one piece of equipment only. The tracks, you have a good traverse speed. It will be 60 plus or below 60 based upon the crew that you have. The engine, you have a 20% chance of engine fire. The radio and the turret armor, it is not that great. The two guns that you will be using. The first 37mm gun, it is not that bad, so you can do quite well in this tank when you are using the first 37mm gun, as it can penetrate most of the tanks that you will be going up against still. But if you want to have a slightly better gun to use until you get to the Bay Type B, you can use the second gun here, which have a better rate of fire, penetration, damage output value, with it being a bit more accurate, from .54 going down to .46. Both of the gun accuracy, they are rubbish, so you will have a problem getting precise shots off at a enemy tank when it comes to long ranges only. So to make use of the terrible accuracy, and if you want to hit the enemy tank for the most part, you need to be at a short distance away from the enemy tank to hit the enemy tank at times. So use either of the two guns until you get enough credit and experience to get to the V Type B tank, which is pretty good. Now I will be covering the consumables, the ammunition layout, the equipment, and how are you going to be using this tank. Let's begin off with the ammunition layout. The ammunition count, you have 150 rounds. That is a lot for you to use, so you should never run out of ammo when you are using this tank. The majority of the ammo that you will be using, it is AP and HE. AP can penetrate most of the tank's armor easily enough, with HE penning some of the thinly armored tank at this tier area still. The main ammo type that you will be using most often, it is AP, as it has some pretty good penetration value, 3250, so you can penetrate most of the tier 1 and 2 tanks that you will be going up against. APCR, it is a race of ammo type to use, as it will be overpenetrating the armor value of the enemy tank. APTR, if you are going to be using any of it, APTR will cost you 2 gold or 800 credits per a round. So my recommendation is stay with regular AP and HE when you are using this tank. Consumables, it is up to you if you want to use them or not. The two pieces of consumables that I would use, I would go with a small first aid kit to treat either of the crew member injuries, with the small repair kit to repair module damage that you will be taking as well. You may or may not want to use the consumables here, as at this tier, it is not necessary to use them, but at higher tiers, definitely the small repair kit and first aid kit will be useful. So use either of the two consumables that I mentioned if you want to, if you have the credits laying around for them. The pieces of equipment that I would go with, if you have the credits laying around, go with the enhanced gun laying drive to decrease what is already a very good aiming time by a bit. Toolbox to get your repairs done faster by 25%. And vents. The improved ventilation class 1 will improve the tank and the crew performance by a bit. Now, let's cover how are you going to be using this tank. As a tier 1 tank, you will have a tier 1 to tier 2 matchmaking. So if you are top tier in a tier 1 match, you can do quite well in it if you play quite aggressively, while playing toward the vehicle's strength and weaknesses still. When you are not top tier, you need to play a bit more cautiously, as you can be killed easily enough, as most of the tier 2s can potentially kill you if they fire their clip into you or use a high rate of fire to decimate you in a hurry. The main tactics that you will be using in the NC-31 are, you are going to be using this as a front line tank for the most part. So the roles would be a support tank, a flanking vehicle, or as a very aggressive front line light tank at times. If need be, you can somewhat be of a short distance sniper slash support tank as well. I have one replay to show you how well you can do in the NC-31 when you are playing it. This replay, I used the Proving Grounds to show you how well you can do in this tank. Let's go to that replay now. This replay, I will show you how well you can do in the NC-31 when you're top tier in a tier 1 match. Due to the time of the day when I was getting replays for this vehicle, not a lot of people were playing tier 1 at the time, so I went to the Proving Ground to show you how well you can do in the NC-31 here. Getting here in less than in a minute, I got to a good position where I could use my rate of fire and good aiming time on the vehicles that come into this area. With the high rate of fire and quick load time, you can easily switch between targets that you're firing at the moment. Seeing there is only 2 large structures left in that area, I went to the middle to get more damage and kills. In a city map like this, the NC-31, it is mobile enough for what it is supposed to do. 3 kills so far, pretty good. With the high rate of fire that this gun does have, with the top 37mm gun, you can easily finish off most of the tier 1s as seen here between 3 to 4 hits. 6 kills, pretty good so far. That Lodge Tractor is going to be the 7th. Eight kills so far, pretty good. This vehicle is one of those tier 1s that you can do quite well in if you know what you are doing at the time. This applies to most of the tier 1 and any tank that you actually use. If you know what you're doing in them, you can do quite well, even for 13 tanks that are just pure rubbish in the game. Especially at some of the low tiers. If you play them to their strength and weaknesses, you can do quite well in them. This replay, I did quite well in the proving ground here to show you how well you can do in the Renault NC-31. For the 10 kills that I got, I did about 600 damage, which is pretty nice. Let's go to the garage now to do a brief recap on the tank itself. Let's do a brief recap on the NC-31. This tank, it is not that great nor bad for its tier. It plays just like the FT-17, which is not that bad at this tier. This tank, if you want to do quite well in it, remember, you are a front line light tank. So you can do quite well in this tank if you play it quite aggressively, if you know what you are doing at the time. Besides that, this is one of those tanks that you will go through ASAP, sell it, and then get to the next tank in the lineup, which would be the Type AB, which I will be doing a review for that tank in the near future. I hope that you learn a thing or two about the NC-31 and how to use it properly. If you like this video, leave a like, a comment, and even follow my channel as well. Good luck on the battlefield, everyone!